is going on, Only Playbook fans? We are back for another episode. NFL Combine is underway. Yesterday was an electric day for quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, but today we are breaking down the top 5 tight ends of the 2025 NFL draft class. Let's get right into it. Honorable mentions here real quickly. Let's dive into Mason Taylor, tight end out of LSU, 6'5", 255 pounds. I feel like I'd be remiss if I don't mention him simply because played at a big school. He has NFL bloodline. He is the son of former NFL standout defensive end Jason Taylor for the Miami Dolphins. So he's got the size 6'5", 255, but doesn't play like the 6'5" size in the sense that he doesn't show tremendous strength for that size. And he's not really offering much after the catch. So I think he's going to be much more of your possession tight end if he ever gets to that in the NFL level. I mean, again, it's an intriguing potential prospect because of the bloodline, the size, the pedigree of the school. But I personally didn't fall in love with much, and he is in a lot of people's top 5 tight ends, mainly like 4th or 5th. But again, I think he's an honorable mention, but I don't think he's better than any of the other 5 tight ends that I'm going to mention. So number 5, I have Gunnar Helm, tight end out of Texas, 6'5", 250 pounds. He's a pass catching tight end. Man, I love to watch this guy play football. He just plays with such aggression. He's a receiving tight end. He's got really, really good yards after the catch ability. He's not incredibly fast in that regard, but he is not afraid to run over you. He's looking for contact, and he just plays with this viciousness that you want from a guy who's catching the football out in open space. You just know he's going to fall forward. He's always going to be looking for the extra yards. So I really like that about him. He's grown into a better football player, better pass catcher as the years have gone on in Texas, and so you like to see the progress. And he had the ability to come out and go pro, I believe, last year, but decided not to do so. So again, I don't know that he's going to be a top 10 NFL tight end, but he can come in and be a serviceable backup tight end, potentially work into a starting tight end role for your team. Number 4, I have Elijah Arroyo, Miami tight end, 6'4", 245 pounds. This guy's athletic. He's fast. He plays with, again, he's one of those Darren Waller type movement tight ends in the sense that he's more of a pass catcher. He's got a mismatch almost anywhere on the field. The thing with him, though, is the year 22 and 23 were injury riddled for him, so he's only got one real full year of sample size, 2024, where he was the tight end to Cam Ward, who's probably going to be the number 1 quarterback, potentially for a number 1 draft pick in the NFL draft. And he had 7 touchdowns with only 1 drop pass. So he's incredibly consistent, reliable with his hands. He's quick. He's agile. I mentioned the explosiveness with his speed. So he's got the yak ability, obviously. He's not an amazing blocker, but it's not for a lack of effort. You do see him try to get in there. And again, when he knows he has a formidable mismatch, he will try to stick his nose in there and really hit somebody. Could get him hurt, could be really bad technique, especially at the NFL level. These intelligent defensive ends and things like that are going to be able to recognize that and swim move or whatever right away from right around him. So that's definitely something he's going to need to work on. But again, I think he's going to be more of a pass catching tight end who's not going to be in line as much. And the one thing I really like about him is, again, he went to Miami University and he is a student of the game. He is aware of all of the legendary tight ends that have come before him, and that's who he talks about studying his game after, the Greg Olsons, the Jimmy Grahams, the Jeremy Shockey's, even the David Njokus. He talks a lot about David Njoku, who is, again, already an active NFL player at tight end, successful one coming from Miami. So again, you always appreciate somebody who isn't just resting on the fact that they're, athletic, fast, they have God-given abilities. He is a student of the game. And again, I certainly appreciate that when he knows the history of who came before him and who he's kind of modeling his game after. Number 3, Harold Fannin Jr., interesting prospect coming out of Bowling Green, 6'4", 6'4", 230 pounds, college record-setting 100 catches, 1,300 yards and 9 touchdowns last year. He can line up everywhere. Again, he can line up in line, but again, I don't think that's where he's going to be at the NFL level. He's not an amazing pass blocker. He's more of a pass catching tight end, in my opinion. He reminds me a lot of Isaiah Likely, where again, from a pass catching perspective, he's a mismatch. He's fast, he's athletic, so he can beat a linebacker, he can beat a safety. But again, when you're asking him, when you're in a run blocking scenario, he's probably going to get subbed out most likely. And so he's very productive. It's interesting, his movement abilities, because he looks explosive, but the cutting is not fluid. So he's explosive, but not fluid. So it is something that you want to keep an eye on because there are spaces on the field where he can take advantage of that. But then again, if it's a zone and he needs to be more fluid with his technique, or it's a man-on-man and he needs to be more fluid with his route running to get some separation, it may not completely be there. So again, he can fit everywhere, but he's an intriguing athletic prospect that, he's got the body type and the mold of an Isaiah Likely. And I think if you get him into an offense where the way the Dolphins use Jonnu Smith, that is something Harold Fannin Jr. can absolutely thrive in and successfully accomplish. Number 2 and number 1, again, I think this is where we really separate ourselves in terms of the tight ends that are in this class. Colston Loveland from Michigan comes in at number 2 for me, 6'5", 245 pounds. Again, another guy that, in my opinion, is going to be more of a pass catcher, but he can play inline and in the slot. And the thing with Colston Loveland that you like is, again, we talked about Fannin Jr., we talked about Arroyo athletes coming from backgrounds where they were playing other sports, played other positions before the tight end position. Colston Loveland's one of your, true tight ends that has only ever really played tight end. So he's got the intelligence. He's played the position for a long time. So he knows nuances in the game, techniques that you can recognize when he's on the field that some of these other tight ends don't necessarily have. And so he has this ability in the pass catching game to come back and find his quarterback whenever his quarterback's doing the scrambling drill. And again, with the way he's a natural pass catcher, he's fluid. His routes he has the ability to create separation with the fluidity in his routes. There's a lot to like with him. Again, I think I don't know if he's going to be, again, a top 5 tight end in the NFL, but absolutely can be a top 10 tight end. The way he moves kind of reminds me of Dallas Goedert, to be honest with you. I don't know if the comp is pristine. Again, don't come at me there, but the way he moves, the way he catches the ball, it's fluid. It's not electrically athletic and exceptional in any regard, but he does everything. He does everything well. And again, that's really what Dallas Goedert reminds me of. And then your number 1 tight end here, no shock, Tyler Warren, Penn State. 6'6", 255 pounds. Last year, 106 catches, 1,250 yards, 8 touchdowns. He's an amazing multi-sport athlete. So this is a guy that played quarterback before. So he has the intelligence to understand everything in the offense, where every single position is going to be, how the defense is going to line up, when the defense is lined up, what they're going to run. He has all of that in his head. So it makes him so good at being a pass catcher, but because he knows exactly what the defense is going to do from that standpoint. So Penn State did a really good job of basically playing him everywhere. He's lined up in the shotgun to run direct snaps. He's thrown passes in reverses and things like that because he was a former quarterback. They run him straight up so he can be a running back, and obviously he plays tight end. So he can truly play all 4. He's obviously a tight end, but the ability to use him in different spots, especially with the ever evolving NFL and how players are used in different spots. You think about tight ends that come in and run quarterback sneaks now. Travis Kelce does that for the Chiefs. I see Tyler Warren getting used like that a lot. I see him getting used in trick plays. I see, again, direct snaps in Wildcat to him. I see quarterback sneaks to him, tush pushes if they don't get banned. Tyler Warren can definitely execute a tush push. So there is so much to like with him. I think he does everything well. He's not quite a Brock Bowers type prospect. I think Brock Bowers was just an inevitable success coming into the league. You just knew he was going to be successful. I think Tyler Warren's going to be successful, but I just don't think he has the same pass catching pedigree that Bowers has. But I think Tyler Warren can do almost everything really, really well. So again, a lot to like. It's easy to compare him to, people in the past or people coming up, stuff like that. But it gives you a sense of what I feel about him. I think he's going to be fantastic. I think he's probably going to be a top 20 pick in this NFL draft. So those are my top 5 tight ends coming into the 2025 NFL draft. Again, not the deepest class, but I do really, really like the top 2 prospects. And I think 3, 4, 5 offer some intrigue for some potential in the NFL. What do you think? Who do you like? Combine's going right now, so some of these rankings could change as some of these guys skyrocket, do really well at the combine or their pro day. Let me know if there's anybody I need to watch I haven't actually discussed or completely just missed out on. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like, hit the subscribe. It helps spread the word. Again, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok are where our socials are at The Only Playbook. I am Sweetcard. That is my Twitter handle. Again, thank you guys so much for listening to another episode. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.